this hour on VTV News. Vietnam, Kazakhstan eye deeper economic ties to expand cooperation. Later on, Haiphong City claims top spot in 2024 Provincial Competitiveness Index. In world news, Britain celebrates 80th anniversary of victory in Europe Day.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is now 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. I'm Phie bringing you the latest updates. Now, Party General Secretary Doan met with Chairman of the Senate of the Kazakh Parliament, Molin Ashimbayev, on Monday night. The meeting took place at a historic moment as Vietnam marks the 50th anniversary of Reunification Day, and Kazakhstan commemorates 80 years of the victory over fascism. During the meeting, the two leaders agreed to boost parliamentary cooperation, enhance delegation exchanges, and closely monitor the implementation of bilateral agreements. They also discussed training programs, policy development, and party-building efforts to deepen mutual understanding. Chairman Ashimbayev emphasized the significance of this first-ever visit by our Vietnamese Party General Secretary since diplomatic ties were established in 1992, calling Vietnam a key and trusted partner in Southeast Asia. Now, also during his official visit to Kazakhstan, Party General Secretary Doan on Tuesday morning of Vietnam time attended the Vietnam-Kazakhstan Business Forum in Astana. The event focused on exploring new fields of cooperation between the two countries, including capital markets, fintech, and green finance.
At the event, the party chief emphasized that while the relationship between the two countries has steadily progressed, crucial aspects, including economic, trade, and investment cooperation, remain modest. The party general secretary highlighted Vietnamese enterprises' strong capabilities and solid reputations in sectors that align with Kazakhstan's development priorities, namely oil and gas, energy, agriculture, minerals, chemicals, tourism, textiles, footwear, and labor cooperation. These shared interests present a valuable opportunity for the business communities of both countries to exchange strategic visions and tap into mutually beneficial partnerships. The party general secretary also witnessed the handover of investment registration certificates and cooperation documents in the aviation sector.
On to other news, State President Lương Cường attended the opening of the 20th UN Day of Vesak Celebrations 2025 on Tuesday morning. The event is a global gathering that celebrates the values of Buddhist teaching, such as compassion, wisdom, and world peace. State President Lương Cường emphasized that for over 2,000 years, Buddhism has become an inseparable part of Vietnam's cultural and spiritual life, fostering a patriotism, tolerance, and a sense of moral direction, and has contributed to the development of Vietnam's national identity. He noted that Buddha's teachings continue to inspire efforts in building a peaceful, harmonious, and sustainable world. In the first 4 months of 2025, Vietnam's macroeconomy remained stable, with key balances and social welfare assured, according to the April government meeting chaired by Prime Minister Phie. The CPI increased by 3.2%, while state revenue rose 26%. Trade grew by 50%, resulting in a trade surplus of over $5 billion. FDI registration surged by nearly 40%, and disbursements reached $6.7 billion, the highest in 6 years. Worker average income in the first quarter shows significant growth, increasing nearly 11% to reach $362 per month. Prime Minister Phie commended these outcomes and outlined 16 key tasks, including improving local government efficiency, reducing administrative procedures, and addressing long-standing issues to unlock development potential. The 15th National Assembly continued its 9th session on Tuesday by considering 4 draft laws, including the draft law on teachers. The updated version of the law on teachers, reviewed by the National Assembly Standing Committee in its 42nd session, has been streamlined to 9 chapters and 46 articles, 4 fewer than the version presented at the Parliament's previous session. A key revision removes the provision that automatically granted newly recruited teachers a one-step salary increase within the civil service pay scale. Instead, the draft proposes placing a teacher's salaries at the highest level within the public sector framework. A broader civil service salary reform is expected to align pay more closely with specific job roles. The 2024 Provincial Competitiveness Index, or PCI, results were officially announced by the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry at a ceremony in Hanoi on Tuesday. The northern port city of Haiphong topped the index for the first time, marking a significant milestone in its economic government journey.
The 2024 PCI index sees Haiphong claim the top position for the first time. The city achieved an impressive score of 74.84 points. Between Vietnam's 2 major economic hubs, Hanoi rose 4 places, while Ho Chi Minh City fell 1 place compared to the 2023 rankings. The 2024 PCI index recognizes local reform efforts while highlighting challenges faced by businesses. Notably, the index now includes environmental management and green investment promotion in its evaluation, offering provinces recommendations to align with green growth and sustainable development goals. Several aspects of provincial economic governance have improved considerably, including streamlined business registration, enhanced labor quality, and digitized administrative procedures. However, significant challenges persist. Among them, land access remains a major obstacle. Businesses still struggle with legal compliance costs, and many local authorities show declining dynamism.
Resolution 68, recently issued by the Politburo, introduces major reforms to remove barriers for Vietnam's private sector growth. The goal is to reach 2 million businesses by 2030, with at least 20 major companies joining global value chains and contributing over half of the country's GDP. The resolution directly addresses long-standing barriers, especially access to capital, technology, land, and skilled labor. This year, the government aims to cut at least 30% of administrative procedures, compliance costs, and business conditions. Concrete support policies include encouraging households to convert into formal businesses and offering free digital platforms, accounting software, and training. Vietnam aims to phase out flat tax schemes for household businesses by 2026. Under Resolution 68, the private sector will become the leading engine of Vietnam's economic growth by 2030. Business associations and enterprises welcome this resolution, which aims to remove barriers so the private sector can unlock its full potential and thrive.
We highly appreciate Resolution 68 as it highlights the importance of the private sector. The government sets ambitious targets to have 2 million private enterprises in operation by 2013, and the resolution emphasizes both quantity and green economy. It also requires authorities not to make criminal proceedings against civil activities.
All economic sectors, be they state-owned, foreign invested, or private, should be treated equally to foster competition and cooperation. This will help private enterprises strengthen their capacity to successfully compete for public investment projects.
While Resolution 57 boosts the development of science and tech enterprises, Resolution 58 helps small and medium-sized businesses build momentum for their development with favorable policies, such as a 3-year tax exemption. Under this resolution, household businesses can transition into private companies.
Now, before we move on to other important updates, let's take a look at the foreign exchange rate of today, May the 6th. Coming up next, cross-border trade surges to record high during 5-day holiday. And Vietnam expats in Russia cheer on military parade unit at Moscow's Red Square. Welcome back to VTV News. Data from Lạng Sơn province shows a substantial increase in cross-border goods transportation during the 5-day holiday. More than 1,500 vehicles carrying agricultural goods cleared customs at the border gates, exceeding the figures from the same period in 2024.
At the international border gates, Vietnamese and Chinese authorities coordinate closely to facilitate customs procedures. For agricultural products, including mango, jackfruit, and durian, export activities operate from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. On some occasions, procedures extend until 9 p.m.
I export 6 to 8 trucks daily, and I'm delighted that the customs procedures are so convenient.
I transported dragon fruit from the southern provinces during the holiday and found that the authorities were still on duty.
To keep companies informed and ensure smooth operations, authorities also enhance traffic management around border gates areas to prevent possible congestion.
We deployed staff at key congestion-prone points to ensure smooth activities. We also coordinate with relevant units to direct traffic from a distance.
We assigned sufficient and dedicated staff to remain on duty throughout the holiday, ensuring that goods were cleared without delays.
In the coming days, border officials will continue facilitating smooth trade with a focus on prioritizing customs clearance for vehicles transporting fresh fruits.
Vietnam's agricultural, forestry, and fishery exports in April are estimated to reach nearly $5.5 billion. In the first 4 months of 2025, total export value exceeded $21 billion, an increase of nearly 11% compared to the same period last year. Agricultural products accounted for $11.6 billion, up about 12%. Seafood exports reached over $3.2 billion, increasing more than 30%, and forestry products brought in over $5.5 billion, up 6%. Asia remained Vietnam's largest export market, followed by the Americas and Europe. However, a newly proposed U.S. reciprocal tax policy, currently under a 90-day delay, could impact Vietnam's overall export performance in the second half of this year. Agricultural scientists regard Resolution 57 as an engine for their sector. The mechanism governing research and product development is undergoing major changes that will pave the way for breakthroughs in both mindset and practice.
The past few days have been especially memorable for scientists at the Fruit and Vegetable Research Institute, following in the footsteps of astronaut Phạm Tuân, who took water fern into space in 1980. They achieved a new milestone. 169 lotus seeds, carefully selected from 80 Vietnamese varieties, have embarked on a similar journey. Resolution 57 has introduced a new mechanism that empowers scientists to venture confidently beyond their comfort zones.
Up there, the lotus seeds may survive and generate valuable research data, or they may not. How do we handle that? In the past, we wouldn't have dared propose such a bold idea. But now, Resolution 57 allows high-risk scientific research. The state accepts that risk.
Breakthroughs from the private sector already account for 65% of total research. Experts say this is an opportune moment to combine state and private research initiatives. The time has also come to shift focus from traditional crops such as rice and corn towards high-value products like vegetables and flowers.
A kilogram of tomato seeds costs $4,000, while a kilogram of rice seeds is just less than $1. The state, through Resolution 57, gradually removes barriers, such as allowing the establishment of enterprises within research institutes.
We believe the guiding decree following the resolution should come into effect soon. It must solve the issue of market access for products and create a transparent mechanism for both farmers and businesses.
Several methods for achieving breakthroughs have been proposed: increased funding for research and development, higher state budgets for science and technology innovation, enhanced supports for national digital transformation, venture capital investment promotion, and acceptance of longer-term research outcomes. Through this new mechanism, these initiatives will foster development of high-quality human resources. Only then can Resolution 57 truly become a powerful engine driving agricultural growth.
The European Commission has postponed its fifth inspection on illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing in Vietnam until the end of this year, according to its Directorate General for Maritime Affairs and Fisheries. Originally scheduled for March, the visit was delayed due to continued IUU violations observed since the beginning of 2025. The EC has requested that Vietnam submit a progress report on the implementation of key recommendations by September the 15th. If the report demonstrates clear improvements, the inspection may be rescheduled for late 2025. To date, the EC has conducted 4 inspections in Vietnam, but has maintained the IUU yellow card status since 2017. The Vietnam Association for Victims of Agent Orange Dioxin on Monday held a meeting with Japanese filmmaker Masako Sakata, founder of the Seeds of Hope Fund for Vietnamese Agent Orange victims. During the meeting, Lieutenant General Nguyễn Hữu Chính, president of the association, expressed deep gratitude for Sakata's long-standing support and hoped she would continue producing films about the Agent Orange tragedy to raise global awareness and strengthen Vietnam-Japan relations. Sakata donated $2,000 to support Agent Orange victims during the meeting. She received the Friendship Order in 2016. On to updates on the tourism industry. Vietnam is experiencing a surge in domestic travel during the 5-day holiday, with destinations rich in natural beauty and cultural heritage drawing the largest crowds. The Mekong Delta, known for its lush landscapes and vibrant traditions, has emerged as a key attraction for local and international tourists. Now in Can Tho City, a range of new culturally immersive experiences is pulling in visitors, spotlighting the unique character of the Mekong River Delta region.
Alongside traditional folk games, several attractions have introduced recreated village markets this year, inviting tourists to make a classic southern Vietnamese cakes, a hands-on experience that has delighted many first-time visitors.
I'm really happy I got to make sizzling pancakes. I've only seen it on TV or watched others do it. But here, I got detailed guidance.
The variety of tourism experiences has helped boost visitor numbers. Many destinations in Phong Dien District, Can Tho City have reported a significant increase in arrivals.
The number of tourists increased by about 20% this holiday. Activities like making traditional cakes and learning about local culture have been particularly well received.
River tourism in Cần Thơ is also showing positive signs. At Cái Răng Floating Market, a flotilla of boats, large and small, creates a vibrant trading hub on water. Local foods and traditional crafts add to the unique appeal for tourists.
I've never seen anything like this. People shopping on boats. I've been to floating markets in Thailand, but this is very different.
What's special is how they hang goods on the pole to show what they're selling. It's unique.
Cần Thơ is now pushing for sustainable tourism by leveraging its ecotourism, river-based experiences, and cultural identity. With increasingly diverse products, the city's goal of welcoming 7 million visitors this year appears within reach.
Now, the Ministry of National Defense sent 86 Vietnamese military personnel to participate in Russia's Victory Day Parade, which commemorates the 80th anniversary of the Soviet Union's triumph in the Great Patriotic War. Ahead of the parade, hundreds of Vietnamese expatriates and students gathered near West Square, waving Vietnamese and Russian flags to welcome the delegation.
Many Vietnamese expats in Moscow took time off work to gather at the event in Moscow. In a heartfelt display of patriotism and unity, the crowd joyfully greeted the Vietnamese military units.
I'm very happy that everyone was willing to join this event. No matter where they are, Vietnamese people always show their patriotism and strong solidarity.
Vietnamese expats of all ages expressed their national pride while greeting the delegation.
Thay mặt kiều bào Việt Nam ở tại Moscow, chúc các đồng chí chiến sĩ chân cứng đá mềm thật luôn luôn mạnh khỏe.
Many of them also seized the chance to capture this historic moment with the Vietnamese soldiers. One young Vietnamese woman crafted a special bouquet of wool flowers as a gift for the troops.
I'm not sure if I'll get another chance to witness such a moving event, so I want to give the soldiers something meaningful. They can take them back home as a keepsake.
Coming up next in our world news. Britain celebrates 80th anniversary of victory in Europe Day. And later on, U.S. President orders reopening of Alcatraz prison. On to our world news. Britain is marking the 80th anniversary of victory in Europe Day this week, with 4 days of commemorations honoring the end of World War II on the continent and those who served and perished during the conflict. A key highlight of Monday's event was a spectacular display by the Royal Air Force Red Arrows aerobatic team. The performance featured 23 modern and historic military aircraft, including a Lancaster bomber, one of the heavy bombers used during World War II. The parade, led by the Royal Cavalry Regiment and the Royal Artillery, involved over 1,000 participants. Victory in Europe marks the end of World War II in Europe, when Nazi Germany signed an unconditional surrender to the Soviet and Allied forces. The surrender was officially signed on May 7, 1945, in Reims, France. As France prepares to mark the 80th anniversary of the Nazi surrender to Allied forces, World War II survivors reflect on painful memories of fear, deprivation, and persecution shaped by the harsh conditions under Nazi rule and the deportation of Jews and others to death camps.
Senna was 15 years old when she was arrested in Paris by French police and deported to Auschwitz-Birkenau camp. The Nazis selected those they could use as forced laborers. 17 members of Senet's family were killed. Senet survived 17 months in the camp. But once back in France, she felt the hardest thing was the indifference to the fate of those who had been deported.
I weighed 32 kilos when I came back, my hair was shaved, so 1 year after the liberation, people hadn't met any women looking like that. A small crowd surrounded me and they asked US, but what happened to you? And suddenly they got angry. And I will always remember the face of a man who looked at me and said to me, "You came back in such small numbers, what did you do to come back and not the others?"
Jeanette Kalinka has now become most known in France for her vivid memories of the concentration camps she shared for the past 2 decades with a younger generation. She felt lucky to find her mother and 4 sisters alive in France when coming back home.
Hatred is dangerous. As soon as we say, that one is like this, that one is like that, it already proves that we make a difference when in reality we are. Whether we are Jews, Muslims, Christians, blacks, we are human beings.
The Holocaust was Nazi Germany's deliberate, organized, state-sponsored persecution and genocide of European Jews. During the war, the Nazi regime and their collaborators systematically murdered over 6 million Jewish people.
Now, U.S. President Donald Trump has doubled down on his proposal to reopen and expand Alcatraz, the notorious former prison island in the cold waters of San Francisco Bay. He believes the prison could once again house dangerous inmates and serve as a symbol of law, order, and justice in the U.S. Alcatraz, known as the Rock, earned its reputation as one of America's most secure facilities due to its isolation, cold waters, and strong currents. The prison held some of the nation's most dangerous criminals, including Al Capone. Though inmates made numerous escape attempts, none were documented as successful. Today, Alcatraz is a historic landmark that attracts millions of tourists every year. The Israeli military announced it conducted dozens of airstrikes on Yemen's Hodeidah port 1 day after Houthi forces launched missile attacks targeting Ben Gurion International Airport, Israel's largest airport. Some 20 Israeli fighter planes carried out strikes against Houthi infrastructure along Yemen's coast, including Hodeidah port and a concrete factory near the city of Bajil. While the full extent of the damage at the port remains unclear, intense strikes and fires severely damaged the container's berth, injuring at least 21 people. Hodeidah port, the second largest in the Red Sea, served as the entry point for approximately 80% of Yemen's food imports. And as usual, let's take a look at the weather forecast. That's the end of VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can download VTVgo from App Store or Google Play or visit our YouTube channel at VTV4Go. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.